Morning, Trig. We are actually going to go over a review lesson from Algebra 2, but it does revisit the topic and it's been a long time. So lesson 108 is for matrix addition and multiplication. So a couple of things to review. A matrix is named by its rows and then its columns. So for example, a 3 by 3 or a 1 by 4. The first number represents our rows. Second number represents our columns. Also, in a matrix, we call each number inside an element. So this would be an element, 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 and so on. So we're going to go over two things. How to add, so addition. Addition, in order to add two matrices, the matrices have to be the same size, and by that I mean they have to have the same dimensions. So you can only add like a 3 by 3 plus a 3 by 3. They have to be the exact same size, look the same, and so on. And then there's two kinds of multiplication we're going to go over, but we'll just start with regular multiplication. So in order to multiply two matrices, inside dimensions must be the same. So matrices can be multiplied if the center dimensions are the same. For example, if I have a 3 by 2 and a 2 by 4, the center dimensions determine if I can multiply it. So because these are the same, yes, I can multiply them. And the outside dimensions is the result. So my answer would be a 3 by 4. So the middle determines whether you can multiply it. The outside determines the dimensions of the answer. So that's also review. And then last, there is scalar multiplication. And that one's probably the easiest. So if I have like 2 times 1, -1, 3, and 6, you simply distribute the 2 to each element. So those are the three things you're going to see: addition, multiplication, and scalar multiplication. Addition and subtraction are dealt with in the same way, so this should also say subtraction. Okay, because you can do both. They're kept in the same category. So let's go ahead and jump on in. All right, so number 1, matrix A equals 4, 2, -2, 6, 3, 5. Matrix B equals 3, 4, 5, -2, -4, and 6. So we're going to find the following. Find A plus B, A minus B, and 3B. Okay, so that we can practice 3 different things in one problem. So let me move this over. So would start with A plus B. I would simply add my elements. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. -2 plus -4 is -6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 3 plus the -2 is 1. 5 plus 6 is 11. Okay, so that is the answer there. Now let's find A minus B. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So that would be 4, 2, -2, 6, 3, and 5. minus 3, 4, 5, negative 2, negative 4, 6. So if I subtract those, remember this time I'm subtracting. So the book goes over you can add the opposite. So for example, I could now make this a plus sign and make each of these opposite, and that might make it easier to read, and then you would combine each element. So 4 plus a negative 3 is 1, 2 plus negative 5 is negative 3, negative 2 and positive 4 is 2, 6 minus 4 is 2, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 minus 6 is negative 1. So that is the result of A minus B. And then finally find 3B. So that is an example of scalar multiplication. So I'm simply going to distribute 3 to each element in my matrix. So 3 times 3 is 9, 15, negative 12, 12, negative 6, 18. And that would be the answer. Okay, so that is pretty simple. Hold on, I'm going to edit, find A plus B, A minus B. All right, so we are going to move on. So that should cover addition, subtraction, scalar multiplication. Now we're going to move on to multiplying. Multiplying takes a lot more work. So multiply. I'm going to give us a 3 by 2. So I have 3 rows. So row 1, row 2, row 3, times, times 1, 4, 2, 5. All right, so they'd like us to multiply these. Now remember, I can only multiply these if the center dimensions are matching. So the dimensions for the first, this is a 3 by 2, and this is a 2 by 2. So because these middle dimensions are the same, I guess, and the result, it will be the outside, so 3 by 2. So here's how we're going to multiply. I'm hoping I can do this well. So how you multiply a matrix. You multiply the first row by each column. So I have to actually multiply by this column, and then I multiply this row by this column. So I'm going to cover up this first column. Now, I'm going to do 2 times 1, so 2 times 1, and then you add the product of the other two elements, so negative 3 times 4. And we will find that result later. And then the second column, that would be 2 times 2 plus negative 3 times 5. Okay? Now, I'll simplify those later. Now I do the second row by each column. So cover up this one. I have 3 times 1 plus 1 times 4. Next, 3 times 2 plus 1 times 5. So I'm multiplying the first one here and the first one there, the first one here, the second one times the second one. And then last, I'm going to multiply the bottom row by each column. So let's cover up that first one. 4 times 1 plus 5 times 4. And next column, 4 times 2 plus 5 times 5. So I'm going to simplify each of these. Right, so this will give me, this is 2 minus 12, so that gives me negative 10. This gives me 4 plus negative 15, so that's negative 11. This one, I've got 3 plus 4, so that's 7. 6 plus 5, so that's positive 11. This is 4 plus 20, so 24, and 8 plus 25, that's 33. And so this is the result, and this would be, sorry, I timed out. This would be the answer. And notice my result is 3 rows and 2 columns, a 3 by 2. So let's try that one more time, and then I think we can move on. So number 3, so A, I've got 0, 1, 2, -1, 0, -2, 3, 4, and 0. Matrix B, I've got 1, -1, 0, 0, 0, 1, and 1, -2, 3. And they'd like me to find A, B. So I can keep it in the order they gave it to me, okay? And remember, we do row. So I'm going to do row 1, and then I'm going to multiply by each column. So let's cover up these 2. So 0 times 1, and I'm going to go ahead and, so I've got 0 plus 1 times -1 plus 2 times 0. So be really careful in your multiplication. Now that's by the second, so 0 times 0 plus 1 times 0 plus 2 times 1. Notice I'm writing them straight across because the row, when I multiply, I write, this becomes the row. And I have a 3 by 3 times a 3 by 3. So I'm able to multiply because these middle dimensions. Sorry about that. And then last, 0 times 1 is 0 plus -2 plus 6. Okay. Now I'm going to do the second row times each column. So times the first. I've got -1 times 1 plus 0 times -1, which is 0, plus -2 times 0. Next column, I got 0 plus 0 plus -2. Last column, I have -1 plus 0 plus -6. Yeah, -1, 0, -6. Okay. And then finally, the bottom row times each column. Remember, I'm multiplying by column. So I'm going to cover up that one. Okay, in black, 3 times 1 plus -4 plus 0. Next column, I'm going to get 0 and 0, right? 3 times 0 is 0, plus 4 times 0, plus 0 times 1. Last, 3 times 1 plus a -8 plus 0. 4 times -2, 0 times 3. And then we're going to simplify this to our answer. So I get, in blue, I get -1, 2, 4. In red, I'd have -1, -2, and -7. And in the bottom, -1, 0, and -5. And that, my friends, is the answer. And that should cover everything you see in homework 108. We are going to skip numbers 3, 12, 15, 16, 18, 19, 24, and 29. Thank you.